Hello, everybody. This is Sree from BizBuzz, What Matters the Most in Your Business, sponsored by MyWorkbelt. MyWorkbelt is a all-in-one software, particularly catering to service-based small businesses all over the world. If you have not checked it out, I would highly recommend you to look at myworkbelt.com. And today we have a great guest, Dennis DM Meador, and he is a serial entrepreneur. And interestingly, he became an entrepreneur from a past experience of being a pastor. And now he is the founder, CEO of the Legal Podcast Network, who is helping all the legal professionals get their message out into the market. And they don't do the legal practice, they help the legal practitioners to get their message out into the market. Dennis, how are you doing?
Very well. Thanks for having me on, Sree.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am so excited to talk about your entrepreneurial journey and how you are helping the small practitioners and what the techniques. And hopefully
Let's go, my friend.
We can take some of those and share with the rest of the world and world of small business entities. So, Dennis, as an entrepreneur, you created three different business entities, and then you grew them and you exited from those entities, right? Now,
well,
if you can give
more
me
than three, but three specifically that reached,
right,
3 to 5 million within 1 to 2 years. Yes.
right, as we were talking in the back room. So, what is the one single activity or a secret sauce that you have used to successfully grow these many entities from small to $3 to $5 million? If you can pin down to one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes from my sales background. I've been in sales process development. Actually, how I got into the industry was when I was in college. Minimum wage was like $4, $5 an hour. And I had a friend that had a job at $9 an hour. And I was like, well, let me try this. Within like 3 months, I was their number one person in all the company, like 5,000 people. So they put me on $25 an hour, come and go as I please, script writing and sales process development. So they would give me a product. And so what I am able to do is when I go into a company or when I start a company, I'm the first salesman. And I go in and I develop the sales process. I tweak the product based on what I'm hearing in the market. I kind of develop the sales process where, I teach salespeople. One of the things I tell them is, listen, if you're answering questions at the end, you're a salesperson. If you're answering questions during the presentation, you're a consultant. So you want to be a consultant, not a salesperson. And so what I do is I build these sales processes with the majority of things that are obstacles for people to work with whatever product. And then I kind of front load those into the presentation and into the process to where I'm answering questions. So by the time we say, hey, would you like to do this? There's no questions. They're just kind of like, so that's really been the biggest thing is sales process development, product development, and kind of myself being like with this company. In the first year, I was the only salesperson, and I brought on my first 100 clients. And what I learned from the first 100 clients, not just in the beginning of selling them, but then in seeing the life cycle of the sales process and seeing retention and the different things that people liked, didn't like, where we hiccuped, is I was able to then launch a 2.0 version and then step back and bring my team in. And the 2.0 version fixed all the things that I didn't realize when I launched the product itself. So that's been the key, the thing that I've seen be most helpful.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. See, generally, a lot of people who start their businesses, they are great in doing something technical. And then they become entrepreneurs. And quickly they will learn, as a matter of fact, I am the same way. Quickly they will learn that they are the best in one thing and the worst in dozen other things.
Yes.
And that is very, very key lesson that for us to learn as entrepreneurs. But most importantly, sales is the engine for any economy, right? If you're having your sales skill, starting the business and taking it to the next level is an incredible formula.
Well, and I always tell people revenue covers a multitude of sins, right? So a beautiful website isn't going to save your butt.
Yes,
And you know what I mean? A well-crafted spreadsheet isn't going to necessarily save your business. But
that's true.
you can sell, you can, I can't tell you how many times on a Thursday night during my career where I had payroll the next day. And so I was working till 8, 9, 10 at night, calling people in California when I was in the in the central time zone.
Yeah,
And I was doing that to make sure I made payroll the next day
right.
because I was just hustling and hustling. And this is something I did in my early 20s with businesses. But the point is, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And then on top of it, I always tell people you should be focused on doing the things that only you can do for your company.
Certainly.
And when you focus on that, and then once you're doing that, then you empower your people to do the
Hmm.
things that only they can do. So my CS director, I empower her, and my director of fulfillment, I empower him. And I'm always constantly like looking at their workflow and what they're doing and figuring out like what is it that you do that only you can do, and what is it that you're doing that you could easily offload to somebody else or to a system
Right.
or whatever. So completely agree with both of those
Yeah,
sentiments.
that's one of the things that I've learned as a serial entrepreneur myself. Delegation is the word that my business coach taught me at the time.
Yes.
Until you learn, until you become master of delegation, you will not be able to succeed in entrepreneurial world. And
Absolutely. I One of the things I'll ask like attorney clients is I'll say, listen, tell me about your business because I've typically found there's three types of business owners. There's
hmm
business owners that just don't want to work for anybody else.
hmm
Those are people that are going to typically make 150, 200, maybe more depending on,
yeah,
variable
the career
circumstances,
path.
but for the most part they're going to be like a high income earner with no boss in a different organization.
Correct.
So that's what I call that those people like lifestyle business owners.
Hmm.
They did it because they want a different lifestyle. Then you have people that want to create what I call a business, and that business owner is going to create something that's more like it exists around them and it
Hmm.
exists because of them. And so they're needed all the time. They're always growing. They're stressed. They're trying to get better. But for the most part, it is a business that is going to get up to a few $1 million. They're going to probably make 350, 500, maybe $1 million a year. And they're going to kind of tap out there because again, they're one person. They can only go so far. They always
Correct.
need to have their hands on the pulse. And then last is the person who wants to build a company. So you're either building a lifestyle, you're building a business, or you're building a company, which is an entity that exists unto itself without you being there to baby it, feed it, prop it up, and keep it going. I stress test my businesses a lot. As a matter of fact, this year, May we hit 1 year in doing this. I went to Thailand and Bali for 4 or 5 weeks. I was in the United States for at least a month this year. And then we just got back from 6 weeks in Europe. So all told, we're at about 3 months gone this year. Now, I
Yeah.
say gone. It was a difference between working like 2, 3 hours a day when I was on the
hmm
road and working 7, 10 hours a day
Seven,
when I
ten
was
hours a
home.
day. Yeah, that's correct. No, that's
But I do
actually very
stress
good.
test it.
Well, see, it's interesting that you mentioned that you, as an entrepreneur, you are deliberately doing the stress test, right?
Yes.
But for me, it naturally happens because I came from India. When I go to India, I have no choice but to go for a minimum a month, if not 6 weeks.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't go for 2 days and come back. And just jet lag alone will take more than 2 days
Oh, I
to
know.
recover
I
from.
know.
So it happens that way. So now that is incredible idea that you are giving to the people that you have to stress test your business. And matter of fact, what you are giving 3 levels of business is extremely clear for the entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs, or those who are already doing business
Yeah,
as
I
an
think just
entrepreneur.
people don't realize it. They don't like be like, okay, I think you need to ask yourself which of those three do you want when you're building your business? Because, I'll talk to people all the time that are just like, yeah, I mean, I've got a one person and an administrator, and it's just me and them, and I just want enough to keep me busy and pay her and pay my bills
Right,
and make what I need to make. Okay, you've got a lifestyle, so don't act like you want to be this mogul of
right,
whatever. Be honest with yourself, and it's
correct.
okay. It's okay
Yeah,
to say I want a lifestyle business or I want a business that revolves around me. I like that.
hmm
I need that ego boost. And you know what? Be
that's right.
honest with yourselves.
That's right.
Or are you building something that will exist on its own without you,
Whether
but
you are
because of you?
alive or you are gone, it's still the entity will
Exactly.
still carry on. That's great.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Appreciate you being here. So, if I take it a summarization of our conversation here, so now, for the entrepreneurs, you have as a serial entrepreneur building multiple businesses, you are suggesting them the sales is the key for success of the business. If you take only one, but there got to be many. Every business is
Yes.
different. But one common that from your learning is that sales is the key. So you have to put emphasis on the sales so that the revenue continuously coming into the market, into the business, and that way you can support on many other activities, right?
Yes.
And the next part that you are suggesting here is that you recognize what kind of a business you are building as an entrepreneur. Is a lifestyle business or simply a business surrounded by the owner, or a company that will survive whether the founder CEO alive or not, or in country or out of country, in reachable or out of reachable. So the clarity that you are giving these three different styles of business is invaluable. Thank you very much for being the show, and listeners,
Absolutely.
hope you can understand what type of a business that you are trying to create, and be honest with you and work accordingly. Dennis, thank you very much for joining me on the show, and greatly appreciate
Absolutely, Sree.
sharing your knowledge and experience with the small business community.
I hope it helps somebody out there.
Excellent. Thank you.